guys, welcome back to the channel. This morning I'm doing a 60-mile run in the Model A Roadster. I'm headed to a Cars and Coffee and just a leisurely drive, you know. It is a beautiful fall day here in Southern California. It's Sunday morning, so there's nobody on the road. And I thought I would take this opportunity to kind of talk to you about what it's like owning a pre-war car. I'm hoping that one of the things that I get across to you is how much fun it is, and you know, I think more people should own these cars and use them regularly. So this is a 31 Ford Model A Roadster. It's a 4-cylinder with about 201 cubic inches and a 3-speed manual transmission. It's got mechanical brakes at all 4 wheels. You know, a lot of cars didn't have 4-wheel brakes until the late 20s, so that was a pretty big advancement. I bought this car about a year ago now, and my son and I got straight to work getting it back on the road. It needed a head gasket. While we were in there, we did a valve job and you know, adjusted the brakes, changed the oil. The radiator's been boiled out and rehabbed, basically. It didn't need to be recored, fortunately, and it was watertight. Those few things really got this car back on the road. And I've been driving this car every chance I get. I mean, I've got other old cars and motorcycles, but I find that, like, for short trips, 90% of the time I'm jumping in this thing. The exception is when it's just way too hot because I don't have a top on it, and man, we've had some dog days lately, so the heat has just been crazy. But yeah, I'm in this car all the time, and it inspires confidence when you can just jump in it and go. And that's not to say I haven't broken down a few times, but honestly, that was usually that was because there's a lot of sediment that's kind of slowly working its way out of the fuel tank. It's a solvent, right? So it's just gonna leach stuff right off the sides of the tank, which is exactly what happened. So really super fine sediment has been collecting, but I've been flushing the tank regularly, and I haven't had any fuel starvation problems for a few months now, which is cool. The other thing is, once in a while this car is missing, and I'll insert a video of that right here so you can see. And I'm not quite sure what that is yet. Still trying to nail that down. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. All right, so let's get back to sort of expectations and what it's like to own and drive one of these cars, because I want more of you to take advantage of the opportunity. So first of all, everything on these cars is manual. That's no surprise, right? Manual steering, manual gearbox, mechanical brakes. There are no alarms, bells, or whistles. You got to pay attention to things like, did I leave the ignition key on? Because that'll drain your battery pretty quick. Did I leave my lights on? Things like that, of course, right? Now, in addition to everything being manual, everything in a car like this happens more slowly than it does in a modern car. Again, no surprise, but it takes some getting used to if you haven't been exposed to these cars. So like the steering, the brakes, shifting, there's a little bit of a lag, and you have to be prepared for that. And that also means you have to adjust your driving style. You can't do things at a moment's notice in this car. You kind of have to plan ahead. So like right now I'm headed down a hill. I've got my foot off the throttle and I'm just letting the car engine brake down the hill. There's a bicyclist down there ahead of me. There's a narrow bridge ahead. I see a car pulled over on the shoulder. So like, my point is you have to watch out for hazards and plan accordingly. The other thing is approaching traffic lights. You can't bomb toward a traffic light and hope to squeeze the yellow, right? you gotta like be ready to stop. And that means if the light looks stale, my foot is off the throttle and I'm covering the brake. You also have to watch traffic around you. Like, for example, I had a couple teenage kids behind me the other day in a pickup truck, and I'm looking in my rearview mirror and I can tell neither of them are really watching the road. They're both kind of looking down at their phones, especially while they're at a traffic signal. And you know, people on their phones have a tendency to sort of creep forward and rear end you. So you've got to watch the traffic behind you and be prepared to get out of their way if they're not going to stop. You know, find an escape route. Incidentally, right now I am on a fairly steep hill. I'm still in top gear, but we're down to 30 miles an hour. I'm chugging a little bit. One good thing about this car is that the engine is actually pretty torquey, so you can kind of stay in top gear. You don't need to downshift. And I'm just about to crest the hill right now. I got no traffic behind me, but I'm watching, trust me. I don't want anybody coming up on me too hard. All right, now I think it's time to downshift. So you heard me grind there, right? It's almost inevitable in this car that you're going to grind gears when you're downshifting from third to second. All right, so now I'm off the throttle. I'm just coasting, giving it a little bit of brake here and there, because you definitely don't want to outrun your brakes on these old cars. Right now we're doing 35 downhill. It's perfectly comfortable. We've got a few little corners in here that I'm negotiating. And again, your steering input has to be pretty deliberate. This is super windy in here right now. But the guy behind me is being real respectful, which is great. He sees how old this car is. Some people aren't that respectful. I don't want you to think that this is like inherently dangerous. I mean, you have to be cautious and sensitive to the vehicle, but and its limitations, but they're definitely usable. Also, I'm on a road that was built for this kind of speed, you know, 35, 45 miles an hour. By the way, if you're wondering, this car is capable of 55 on basically flat ground, and I've done it. It feels fine, but it's kind of wrung out. You know, these engines are not built for high RPMs. The sweet spot in this car is 35 to 45. It just really hums along. It's very pleasant. All right, so I let that traffic go. I know they want to go faster. It's fine. Not a problem. So we're climbing the hill in second gear here. You might be able to hear a little bit of a sputter. It's missing from time to time. And again, that's an ignition problem, and I'm not sure why. I know I've got my timing dead on. It might be the coil. The coil might not be keeping up, but you know, it's not a high performance engine, so I'm just not quite sure. It could be a short somewhere that's occasionally shorting. You know, it's just an intermittent problem, but these are the things you have to deal with in any old car. So I would say that driving a car like this is as distant from driving like a 60s Mustang as driving a 60s Mustang is from driving a Tesla. Does that make sense? It is a huge difference in those eras. It's fun, it's just a different kind of fun. So if you like kind of slow and easy, if you like super mechanical feel, and if you like tinkering a lot and also kind of being a little bit exposed to the elements and really kind of feeling the environment you're driving through, you know, a pre-war open car is an awesome, awesome thing to have. It's a great experience. Another aspect of owning these cars is the maintenance is more than a modern car, and certainly more than a lot of classics. There's a whole lubrication chart, and most things you have to do every 100 miles to 500 miles. Now with modern motor oils, a 500-mile oil change is not necessary. You know, when this car was new, the motor oils they had were not that great. They broke down quickly. Obviously, they did not have synthetics. Check out this. This is beautiful. And the way those old motor oils worked is that they grabbed and encapsulated, you know, contaminants in the oil, and then they deposited them at the bottom of the oil pan in the form of sludge. Whereas modern motor oils contain a lot of detergents, and they flush all those contaminants. Eventually, they make it to your oil filter where they're captured. This car does not have an oil filter. You can add them, but I haven't. I'm running modern oil in the car, but it's not synthetic. And so this car's done like 1,800 miles in the last 10 months. And I'll change the oil pretty soon. So among the maintenance items you can expect on a car like this, you want to check all your greasing points in the steering and suspension. You want to examine all your brake rods, the cotter pins, everything that holds the braking system together. I also check the gear oil on a regular basis. Obviously you want to check your coolant. I run a 50-50 coolant and distilled water. And you can see the hood ornament out there. That's actually a motometer thermometer, so it's a temp gauge. And right now, I can't even see the mercury in it because we're running fine. The car's running probably 170, 180 right now. Now, obviously I can add a temperature gauge if I want, but I don't really need one. Again, there's not much to the car, so it's pretty simple. But you just have to be mindful of the fact that there are a lot more wear points, I guess, in this car. So that's pretty much it for maintenance on this thing. All the lubrication points, check everything is topped off. I don't keep it on a battery tender because I use it so often. But if I didn't use it that much, maybe, let's say I use it only a couple times a month, I would definitely keep it on a tender. It is a 6-volt system, positive ground. So I talked to you about some of the aspects of driving the car, you know, just being cautious and not trying to push the car beyond its limitations, all of that. But what about the enjoyment of it? This car is so much fun. I mean, look at this. It is a beautiful day, no top, wind in my hair. The world is going by at a slower pace than usual, and that's fun because, I don't know, you get to see more stuff. You just kind of enjoy the environment around you much more than you would in a modern car where, you know, your windows are up, you're in the air conditioning, you've got your entertainment system on, and you're basically insulated from everything around you. Also, people love this thing. I mean, everywhere I go, you know, people talk to me about it. Just driving along, people are waving, smiling, doing double takes. If you're a shy person, don't get a car like this because people will be coming out of the woodwork to talk to you about it. And I also sort of enjoy educating people about it. When they hear it's a 31, they're blown away. Like, that is really old. I'm amazed that it's on the road. Like, they can't believe I'm driving it. So that's fun for me. Also, the people I have met and become friends with as a result of this car and just my general interest in old cars is, I mean, that's priceless, right? Those friendships that you make. and the experiences with those people, and also the knowledge that they pass on to you. Just awesome. So we've gone, I want to say we've gone about 40 miles now. And I said earlier this was a 60-mile round trip, but because I took some back roads, it's more like 80. But I've gone about 40 miles so far, and this thing hasn't really missed a beat. Kind of proud of that. You know, this car was off the road for decades, and my son and I got it back in service. Nice. Hey, thanks guys. Enjoy your ride. Anyway, those were some cyclists. I'm kind of proud of the job we did on this car and the fact that we're using it so much. And I mean, we do school runs in it in the morning and the afternoon. If I need to go to the store, I hop in this car. It's just a lot of fun. You know, I haven't done really any modifications to this car. It's pretty much original. And once in a while I get tempted to change something here and there, but I resist the urge because I want to live with it for a while and, you know, just experience it like this. And I feel like there's improvements that I can do just adjusting the car in its current configuration before I do any modifications. And, you know, once you start changing things, where does it end, right? Another early Ford showed up to Cars and Coffee, 33. Well, Cars and Coffee was a bunch of fun, and I went ahead and got onto the freeway for a few minutes, coming down the coast, and incredibly, I got the car to 59 miles per hour. So I'm on the coast right now. It is a beautiful day. Looks like they're doing a marathon or half marathon along PCH here. And the car's missing a little bit right now, but I mean, it's been a great drive. I can't complain at all. Well guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. I got more coming with this Model A. Man, what a beautiful day. I'm gonna keep enjoying my drive. See you next time.